My name is Megan Shabram. I'm an astrophysicist, and I'm really passionate about social innovation and conservative science and engineering cultures. I'm currently working on building a sanctioned space where people across the world can come together across group boundaries and do real-time innovation. So I want to create the conditions for playfulness and psychological safety so that we can sort of experience what jazz musicians experience when they're riffing. But instead of having an instrument, we're sort of digging deep into our life experiences and our intellects and bringing in the future through this process. Um, I also find that there's a really big need to find new types of support and reward structures in these science and engineering cultures that are often structured very hierarchically and with different organizational psychologies that can be somewhat extractive and prevent us from solving our most urgent problems. And so, how can we honor how we do science and engineering today, but create a little bit of an opening for people to kind of come together and get together and play together when it would otherwise take so much longer and it would take so much more to get them together? And then, yeah, how can we innovate financially? What kind of new global treaties or different IP law, patent law, um, can we create that people will want to buy into and that we can leverage our new financial support structures to to create new financial incentives as well. I was really excited about this program because I really believe that when we are connected with nature, we go camping, we come together around a fire, and we have meals together, we can not be in it alone. Um, and that was really enticing for me with this program, especially because I don't even have a name for my company yet. I don't have a website, and I felt like this program was just right for me and where I'm at, in terms of learning how to live into the answers I need at the very beginning. And yeah, I'm really excited to get connected, meet new people, understand the culture, the ecosystem, and the different types of opportunities that might light up as something for me to kind of dive into or get more information about. It just seems like a really good community that I feel like I might be a good fit for this.
So for
I'm so new to this. I just even learned about kind of how venture capital works in April of this year. So the challenges for me are, I don't want to just sit there and have a big idea alone and then go try to get other people to do it with me or for me. I want to lead creatively and I want to bring people along with me and have the idea emerge in a way that is of service to more people because sort of the philosophy behind my whole innovation facilitation framework is that new ideas require the inspiration of each other. And I want to kind of set that example as I build that program. I think what I hope to glean a little bit more is sort of how all this funding ecosystem operates culturally, kind of what does it feel like to go fundraise? How can I develop a pitch? How can I make sure that I've captured, meaningfulness and the value of what I'm doing and kind of communicate that to people who don't have my lived experience and don't know what I know. And then how can I interact with the ecosystem around fundraising and sometimes even since April I might chat with an investor that I didn't know was an investor, and then when they tell me, "Oh, they're an investor," I'm a little bit of a deer in headlights. I'm like, I don't have a formal business sense of how to kind of I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk later," and then I'm like, "Okay, I need to talk to that person." I don't really know how to do business like that, so hopefully this kind of develops me in that way as, like, somebody who's a technical scientist or, I don't have a business degree and I don't have that kind of social training. I hope it kind of gets me what I need to kind of know what that looks like or examples of a six what's an example of successful fundraising. Maybe there'll be stories of people and what it was like for them emotionally, um, physically, like how did you meet the person that funded you? And then um, what was it that made it the connection and how does it even work mechanically? Yeah.
So,
I'm a very curious person and that's sort of, how I got into astrophysics. And in those spaces, I thought about how science is done and the human component of science and how it supports new findings and how it blocks new findings or even shapes new findings. And I felt like a lot of the social structures were really prohibitive and also kind of extractive. And I felt like I wanted to go on a journey where I lived into the answers to how to liberate those communities from those structures. And it required me to kind of be curious about things that I would otherwise think were a little bit out there. And that made me feel like, lit up and, it ignited all of my emotions, all of the negative, positive, and those emotions became my guide, and that to me feels like what creative leadership can be, and so, yeah, I feel like I have something to share through my life's lived experience, and I want to serve humanity in that way, and I wanna do it in a way that honors how things are done now, and I feel like being an entrepreneur is a really great path for that purpose.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and I'm the founder of Funding Breakthrough Lab. This is our second cohort, and we're out here on Rancho San Gregorio farm of one of our speakers, Daniel Theobald. They do robotics, sustainable farming out here. And Funding Breakthrough Lab was born from me being in the community building space for female founders, also having tried to do my own startup. I saw that there was this need to learn about so many things when you start off as a founder. Even though I had worked as a software engineer at multiple startups, going from 0 to 1 was very different. There was tons of stuff like who do you talk to? What do you need to know? Where can you get funding from? How much funding do you get to give? How do you build your network? And so the amount of time it took to find that information out was being taken away from me building my product. And that's where I saw that there was a need and founders didn't have the time to find this. So I built Funding Breakthrough Lab to support founders in the way that I would have wanted to be supported. Some of the things that I wanted people to take away from this program is community and network, having other founders, people in the industry that they can rely on for mentorship and support. I think the startup journey is very lonely and hard, and so I love learning about mindset and coaching. And a big part of being able to handle stress is having a good support community. And so you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. Having other people going through that journey will support you. Other things I wanted to impart were just different perspectives. And that's also why we have so many different speakers, because I think to be able to strategize appropriately for your startup, you need to have perspective about all the different experts in the industry, all the different nuances, and then decide for yourself what's actually better for you. And so I want founders to be able to walk away with what's good for them and which in the long run, I hope makes them more sustainable as a business. At Funding Breakthrough Lab, we get people from idea to seed stage. They could be, thinking that they want to change the healthcare system, but not knowing how they're going to approach that. And coming through and pitching and refining and tuning and getting feedback to come up with a more finalized idea. And then we have other founders who've maybe actually been working on their product for 2 or 3 years. They're about ready to get their first customers, or they already just got a few customers and they're ready to go fundraise. And so they're coming in at a time where they need pitch practice, they need network with VCs, and then they're actually going out and getting those clients and fundraising. So our program is 10 weeks long. We're starting with an opening retreat out here at Rancho San Gregorio. We're also ending in the same place, but the rest of the program is done online. In this cohort, we're testing out weekends. We're doing 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays so that members who are working, still studying, and busy building their business can do so outside of work hours. And then we also do socials with our groups, as well as we have demo day in person for the top 10 to pitch in front of VCs with their final idea.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's funny. My kids would love that. Hold on, where did I put my? Oh, here. Here, I got it. Is it better with a hat? Oh, hi. Can I do this with
She
you?
looks so great on the.
Can I do this with you? Oh,
Dad, come here.
Oh man.
so cute. My name is Chris Van, and I'm the founder of Hi. Hi. You're so cute. Sorry, was that supposed to happen or? You're so
It's
cute.
all planned.
My name is Chris Van, and I'm the founder of Ritual. It's a fintech company that is an AI native financial decision support agent that is helping career shifters navigate major life and career decisions. So, right now, 57% of workers are going through a career shift, which is the highest ever. So it's quite unprecedented with all the things happening in the economy. And 70% don't have a financial plan. And so there is there are millions of people with financial range anxiety that need our help right now. And so that's why we're doing that. So I am a Gen Xer, and so I have hit midlife, and looking back at my life, I had a bunch of career shifts throughout, right? And I was thinking through how at the beginning of my career, I made I made decisions for the wrong reasons throughout, right? And a lot of that is some of it is being an immigrant growing up in the US and having kind of the financial pressure, and not having the financial security uh, from the beginning. And so making choices to go into things for the wrong reasons, for money, to pay the bills. And for example, I went into law and, got into law school debt. I had like a lot of law school debt, and then practiced and realized it was not for me. And then I had to make a big career shift. And then there were times, and I went to tech. I went into tech and in here in San Francisco, and along the way, learned and climbed, and probably along the way there were times I stayed too long in certain companies, and I realized throughout there was an underlying issue of like financial anxiety that was guiding and driving my decisions rather than from a place of really knowing who I was and clarity and confidence in the path I wanted to take and what purpose and mission I, what meaning and purpose and mission I wanted to pursue to provide value to the world and what impact I wanted to make. And so I started realizing so many other people were doing this. We're going through the same, what's the word, default autopilot in their lives. And a lot of us are, and then COVID happened, right? COVID changed everything for so many people, and woke us all up to realize, like, this is not this beautiful life, and we're, this beautiful life that we have, that we're so lucky to have, is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Um, and so what are you doing? What are you doing with your life today and tomorrow to be more in alignment with who you are and what you were supposed to be doing, and that what you love? And I think ultimately it's about all of us having the means to be able to make decisions so we can live a life to our ultimate potential, where we are tapping all of our highest abilities to contribute to the world in the way we were meant to. And I think, unfortunately, reality of financial practicalities hold us back from that. And so we're kind of stuck in the system where, we're employed, and we have that kind of, you know, addiction to the paycheck, right? And so that's why I want to help others, because I finally unshackled myself from that, and that's why I finally was able to say, "Hey, I've gotten to a point where I'll be okay. My family will be okay, and I can finally have some flexibility to pursue a path to help others also do the same, because I don't want other people to, and the new generation is coming up, and they're hitting AI, big waves of AI that are going to impact their lives. And I hope they'll learn faster than I did. I mean, us Gen Xers, like, we did trial and error the hard way, right? And now the new generations are able to learn faster. And I want to help, and I especially want to help the Gen Xers, Gen X millennials in mid-career, because they are dealing with so many financial complexities, aging parents, kids, um, making sure that they are prepared. We don't know what's going to happen with Social Security. We have no idea. We have got to make sure that we have thought through all of the scenarios so we are covered and can feel that confidence that we're fine. And so we can take that leap. I joined the Funding Breakthrough Lab because I was at a point where, I have a team. I have a team of 5. We are working to MVP. It's in a month we will be able to launch our MVP. We've done a lot of market validation. I've been talking to hundreds of people, especially Gen X millennials going through career shifts, people who've been laid off, people who are quiet quitting, and and so we are ready to, and I've been bootstrapping this, and so, but we're at the point where we will have traction in a couple months, to the point where we'll be ready to have the data we need to prove our thesis, that people really need this, and that our product is helping to solve it in an affordable, accessible way. And at that point, I want to be ready to be talking to investors. I want to have the narrative down, the pitch down. I want to be so confident and have the data to back that conviction. And what Natalie is bringing is all these amazing speakers and people who have done this, and who have the expertise and knowledge. And I need help. I'm a first-time founder, and I've done a lot of things in my life, and have succeeded along the way. But every time you start something new and you're in a career shift, and it's humbling. It's really humbling, and you're like, I've been around people who have successfully fundraised and built companies and sold, but I have never done it myself. And so, I'm excited about, what we are going to learn from all the different speakers and investors and, all the connections we're gonna make, other founders and investors. And so in 10 weeks, I think we're going to be at a very different place. I think we just wrote to our future self, and my future self is going to say, you now have the confidence to go out there and do this. You now have proven data to show your proof of concept and people are using your product. And now I can get out there. I understand how the game is played. I have all my ducks in a row and I can go out there with confidence and do this very hard thing and go out there and attract investors to this opportunity to help so many millions of people at a really critical time.
6.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thornton. I am in a very educational phase right now and here to learn about what VC fundraising would look like. Um, I am exploring a couple of different ideas, so I hope to mature maybe one of those ideas during this program. In particular, my idea is around making tools that help companies actually build products that help humans thrive and are in balance with the earth. More practically, what I mean by that is a lot of my background and experience has been in systems engineering. And that means taking in different perspectives around not just monetization and efficiency, but also around safety, equity, fairness, trust, transparency, and making sure that we actually have metrics in place to make sure we're actually accomplishing and bringing those into realization. And so I want to help build more tools that make that more accessible to engineers and companies, so that way we actually make products that help people thrive. So my background, my degrees are in mechanical engineering. My PhD was in designing autonomous vehicle motion planning algorithms with ethical considerations. So I spent a lot of time working with philosophers and lawyers and bring in their expertise in how we design algorithms. And I started in a vehicle dynamics and controls lab. So my project was very different from the other projects in the lab, which were focused on like autonomous racing and electrifying DeLoreans that drift. So those were like the really cool, flashy projects. Mine was like project boring because I had to focus on ethics, and if it's ethical, then it's like, and it's doing everything perfect, and there's nothing exciting going on. But through that, I learned that it was more than the responsibility of an individual component or software module in a complex software stack to make sure the system behaves ethically or safely. The whole system plays a part in that. And so now I'm working as a systems engineer in the autonomous vehicle industry. And I've been taking and learning a lot about what systems engineering entails. And that has historically started a lot in the hardware space, which can be very slow and manual processes, and adapting that to be very agile and quick development in line with the software lifecycle. And so I think producing or creating more tools that really empower fast iteration to see if I'm actually building something that actually aligns with my human values and what I'm trying to capture and realize in this product. Because everything that we build, whether we mean to or not, is going to represent who we are as like people, or what maybe a company's values are. Like those are going to come forward and be witnessed by anyone who uses or experiences that product. And I think my belief is that unless we're being really explicit about it and intentional, then we will actually make sure we're making products that help people instead of harming them unintentionally. So what I'm hoping to gain from this funding breakthrough lab is, as I mentioned earlier, education. I want to learn more about what it takes to raise VC funds, if that's even something I want to do. Right now, I'm actually kind of anti-VC funding because what I've seen is a lot of VCs tend to
prioritize monetization and efficiency and getting a return on investment really quickly. I have heard that there are other VCs that's not just their bottom line. So maybe I'll learn more about what those other VCs are out there who care about more than just profit maximization. Not that there's anything wrong with profit maximization. We all we all need to make a living at the end of the day and thrive in this economy that we have. But I think we can expand our objective function beyond just that and care about other aspects in our lives. And so I'm here to learn what it means to go through VC funding. Possibly, and if I do that, I hope it might actually maybe accelerate a bit more my impact than trying to bootstrap on my own what this might look like. So that's what I'm here to explore, be curious, talk with other people, learn about their journey and their lessons. Yeah, and just have more clarity on the funding future for my ideas.
My name is Anya Aidman, and the name of my company is Arya Energy. I brand myself right now as midwife of innovation, and my product is working with large systems and ensuring that those systems are able to produce jobs for human beings. It's an interesting environment to be in because right now a lot of technology and innovation are displacing jobs and involving artificial intelligence agents to perform rudimentary tasks. However, in that process, we are forgetting that having a job is a human dignity. And my experience comes from building workforce development programs and systems in New York City, working with disadvantaged communities in areas of disaster recovery and also just abandonment and working with youth and ensuring that crime rates are low by offering them opportunities to show up at work and showcase what they can do. And I'm a very strong advocate for involving leadership of larger organizations in seeing that disparity in building jobs is um, creating a void of disaster that's going to be too much to handle for all of us. So I have solutions, I have ideas, I have experience, and I am testing out variety of different new corporate structures that could work in supporting building out of jobs and also ensuring that entry-level workforce has a place to be because as of right now, AI agents and artificial intelligence are replacing effectively all uh, college level graduates that are entering the market and seeking to gain experience. AI already has all that experience. So that's what I'm about. That's what my company is all about. So in 10 weeks' time, I am hoping to change my mindset. I have really embodied the issues that I am concerned about. And now I want to step away from it and see it from a different side and see it as a challenge that has a solution and frame it in different words and also as a different project that would be applicable for public sector and private sector. I do have strong interest in public sector because job creation is a national concern, and I see that job creation in construction engineering and energy sector is a big issue, with vocational training and career technical education training not catching up with the need of the industries and infrastructure build out. And at the same time, I want to ensure that private sector is aware that replacing white collar jobs is becoming a big issue as well. So this solution has lots of applications, and especially for innovation. And so my goal in being here is to be able to reframe the lived experience of knowing the problem and create a technical framework that can support large scale job creation. I'm also looking for partners and investors that would be interested in gov tech startup and seeing importance in partnership, public and private partnership here, rather than extractive investment. So this is a different issue to tackle. So I am hoping to find like-minded people from all, possibly government, possibly investors, but people who really understand and care about this issue.
So my name is Deepak Kapoor. I'm the co-founder, CEO of Deal Copilot AI. We help mid-market and enterprise sales reps close their deals better, be their co-pilot for them. We've built the product. We're working with a few design partners, and we're looking for more. The top challenges are getting more people to use it, give us feedback, make sure we're on the right track. I want to be part of Funding Breakthrough Lab to help prepare me for the fundraising that I need to do in a couple of months. So the timing is just perfect for me. So as far as learning goes, that I can get from Funding Breakthrough Lab, startup is a tough journey. And one thing I've learned is there is always room to grow. And I'm actually coming into the program after a very strong recommendation from a friend, validated by another founder who was part of the program. And both of them, the biggest takeaway was you get a lot to learn. So I'm very excited and look forward to all the learning that's coming my way. I'd say metric for success for me would be the fundraising in of itself. Um, uh, yeah, I guess that's pretty simple, straightforward. So what I mean by that is I am at a stage where I'm talking to investors. My startup is at a stage where it's fundable for them. I've done all the groundwork to be ready for that next step, and I'm not just crawling my way into it. I want to go at it from a confidence point of view and not you know a back foot. So the journey to be here to raise money is coming from I've been a software engineer all my life. When I decided to do a startup, to be honest, I think I jumped head first into it. Along with that came a lot of challenges of learning along the way, which has been wonderful, and I would do it all over again. And one thing I've realized, a lot of founders go after the fundraise as a point of view of raising money, while that's a goal as well. Another thing I've found is, especially since my product is into B2B space, um, a lot of investors come in with a lot of introductions and connections, which certainly helps a lot of these startups along with that journey. And I look forward to those introductions and connections along the way as well.
I'm Rohit. Um, so I recently moved back to Bay Area like 2 months back with one plan, which is like to co-founder by the end of month August and build MVP between September to November and launch in December. Again, that's the plan. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen right now. I think finding the co-founder is gonna take much more time than I anticipated. Other than that, I'm working on a side project which I'm building. It's something in the domain of a desktop AI assistant, which can think, hear, and see, and help you do various tasks on the desktop, like reminders, normal Q&A, search, managing your data in the desktop. It's more like seen as a technology driven problem rather than the problem driven problem, but that's not it. It's more to that. The main problem that I'm trying to solve with this idea is I'm trying to solve the AI privacy and safety, because right now there is no AI that kind of actually works in your personal desktop. It's all in the cloud or internet somewhere. Yeah, that's the side project I'm working on and looking for the co-founder actually. Yeah, and I have experience and background in working as an AI engineer. I completed my master's in computer science with AI data track, and since I graduated, I have been working in AI only. Yeah, that's about me.
And so what?
Yeah, so what brings me to the funding breakthrough lab? Um, couple of things. First, obviously, to meet more people and to network. Maybe I can find a right person or right match for my co-founder. That's one thing. And I would like to meet some investors too, to get their perspective, like how do they invest in the ideas, and how the process goes, how the investment process, how do we move from idea stage to the funding stage. I would because it's my first time, I'm a first time founder, right? So I have no clue or whatsoever how this process happens. That's one thing, and I would like to learn about pitching too. And these are the main things that I'm looking forward in this 10-week internship program, to learn about these things. Other than that, I'm kind of looking for a solutions or ways to how to handle the visa challenges, because I'm an immigrant and I'm having a lot of troubles with my immigration because of H1B not getting picked. So I would like to sort that to know how other people will be dealing with this. Yeah, these are the couple of things that I'm expecting to get to know about in this week.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Van Cleve, and I am working at a stealth robotics company right now, and we are doing in-home robotics. So robots that are going to be doing all the tasks that you don't want to do. This is pre-seed, like it's stealth, so we have private investors, but it has not opened yet to other investors. So it's going to be in a couple months. It's right before that point. So the types of tasks that we don't want to do that the robot can do is things like cleaning your dishes after you eat, or picking up your clothes off the floor, putting them in the washing machine, putting them in the dryer. Just routine tasks that sometimes eat up people's time. Eventually, also maybe cooking and um, being like that assistant in your house. Yeah, the biggest challenge we're trying to solve is the generalization of these tasks. So everybody's house is different. Everything's set up in different places. Um, some people's refrigerators are big and obvious. Some people's blend in with their house. So trying to program this in a way where it can go to your house and find everything by itself. Just like if you hired somebody to come to your house and cook for you, they would be able to find your fridge and find the food in it, that type of thing. Because the machines are not programmed with that knowledge already in them, they have to generalize, like, I know what these other like kitchens look like, so this one's similar. It's not the same thing. So being able to give it enough data, collect enough data out in the real world. Yeah, I personally don't have a lot of experience talking to lots of investors and knowing which type of investments I want. So this is a way for me to really be able to learn what types of investments to seek out and what to avoid potentially, whether it be like an angel investor or venture capital, that type of thing. So I just want to get in the nitty gritty of like before I even go and talk to people, talking to the right people beforehand, so I don't waste time. So, to gauge what I made like from this experience at this accelerator is whether I can approach a investor and tell them like my story from beginning to end in a very little, short amount of time where they can get the full story, the full picture from me, and they will know whether or not they want to invest and if they're interested or not. Um, so that's one thing. And then the second thing is like, I hope to actually have talked to a few investors by the end of this on my own out in the wild.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline, and my project is Fern. So I've actually been working on this project for a bit. I've actually built out the prototype. I've asked a couple of folks, and also found out a few folks want to like purchase it. But I've been playing around with other ideas as well. But this has definitely been the biggest go getter right now for Fern. We're trying to help women plan from, say, when they're young to wanting to start like a family. And so when they're trying to really figure out who they are, whether finding a partner and then ultimately trying to figure out if they want to have marriage and kids, this will be a really good tool for them to help them not only learn about women's health, but also understand what the journey might entail as you go through these trials and figure out how you want to grow a family. Yes, so this is a digital application that allows you to not only journal how you're feeling, but some of your daily activities, whether it be finding out who your partner is and any questions that you might have that you want to discover more in your relationship with your other party. And then in the end, have different step by step videos just to help you figure out how to start the family. So the biggest challenge is really just getting it out there and on an application, but I have built it out. I've gotten some feedback that says, "Oh, I could just use ChatGPT instead." And so there's a little bit of a pushback seeing if I even need this tool to exist or not, but definitely going to try to continue to push forward. The biggest thing I really wanted to come here and go through Funding Breakthrough Lab is have this community, but also try to tap into others that have walked my shoes, but also thinking about who I could reach out to and if I can get that embodiment from others to continue to have the courage to walk a founder's step. It's been challenging because sometimes I will hit a brick wall and ultimately it just stops me and I might want to switch ideas. So, having this community to lean on and setting the goal of having the customers at the end of the day, say maybe 100 customers, that would be really successful for me. And hearing other people here at today actually gave me a lot of confidence that I'm not really the only one that's struggling, but also it's been encouraging that I can do this, although I have a lot of like no sayers in my brain. So I'm just doubting myself. But it seems like other people have been reassuring me, and it's not to say I should be laughing, like I should just laugh at it and just forget about the doubts in my mind. So I think a lot of it really comes down to just making sure that I deliver it to someone who needs it and having that moment that when I do help someone, it's not really about me making it or anything like or my struggles or trials. It's just about having the fact that something is out there that actually helps someone. So it's really transitioned my mindset to less of being in my head and more so being into the world. But I'm still working on it. Yes. So in 10 weeks, I feel like I'll have succeeded in this program if I have a board of people that I can lean on, a good community in the sense that maybe like 3 to 4 or 5 people that I can just keep in touch, maybe move to SF or going further, if I've actually gotten companies that want my product that have signed up to have contracts, that'll be a really good key of success for me, and also understanding my business model a bit more to the T.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Harshavardhan. I'm currently working as a software developer at DoorDash in Bay Area. So I have some ideas that I'm working on some building the AI stuff with no-code tools and other tools that, as I'm a software developer, the tools that I know that I'm working on with some ideas. Yeah. So one idea that I had, so I'm building on it, working on it. So it is in development stage currently. Yeah.
Would you like to describe your project at all?
Yeah, sure. I'm working on the ideas. It's like optimizing your workflow or reaching some goals, something like that. So generally, it's maybe I'm very bad at explaining, but I'll help myself. If you want to optimize your workflow, for example, you have multiple goals in a day apart from your work. So you want to go to groceries, you want to find meet 10,000 steps, meet some new people, or these are the some talk to some random people in a day, or something that you met a goal, or go learn something new. So you put in a day, this AI will optimize your workflow. For example, as in the day it says that go, as you want to buy this stuff, you want to meet these 10,000 steps, so go there, walk to that target or some store, so that should be add up and you will buy the products, and the nearest Starbucks is there because you have a meeting at 3:30. So that is a task that you thought, and that is a place where you can meet as you set up a goal to meet new people. You have this conversation, startup conversation, something like that. So it embeds into your workflow. It don't disturb your workflow but enhances, be productive, whatever the goals you set up, try to achieve it. Yeah.
What what brings you to funding Breakthrough Lab? What are you hoping to gain here?
Yeah. I've the main thing that as I was building, I was getting multiple ideas. I want to clear it out, coming with some ideas, come to the some ideas, and come up with MVP and network. That is another part I was thinking, and understand the flow of startup. That would accelerate in someday after building of, or know the direction that I want to take after that. Yeah.
So, and what has sparked your interest in becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own business?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. But I was facing this problem that I was missing many things in that day that I had to put a goal. So I thought I want to solve this problem. At one point, I got a ignite that this is the same problem everyone is facing. Why don't I make an app for everyone and then make a business model on that? So that's how it turned out. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Olivia Habart. I'm working on a pre-stage or pre-seed startup in the ed tech space, and it's a career advising platform. Well, first off, Natalie, she's amazing. Really excited about the program she's put together. What I'm looking to get out of it is really to get more confidence in the fundraising process before we start raising a seed round in like Q1 of next year. So I want to be able to like hit the ground running and not like make mistakes I could have avoided. So I want a good roadmap and blueprint. That's the main thing. And also, I love just building in person and community. So it's cool that there's this in person element like today with the cohort. That's really nice too. So we're building a career advising platform for college students. So right now we have a pilot program with a university where we're building out a platform that helps take the current career advising process that the college has and just make it much more efficient and cost effective and more engaging for the students with lots of like agentic technology, AI, all of that fun, all of that fun stuff. But we're not just building the tech, we're trying to actually solve the problem of students taking all these classes and then they get done with college and they have no idea what to do. We want to make sure that doesn't happen, especially because it's just getting more and more turbulent, the job market. So we're trying to make the services that these colleges already offer more accessible. So that's what we're building. So my objectives as an entrepreneur and some of the challenges I'm facing right now, I think my objectives to just get into the space and be an entrepreneur like, for myself. I've dealt with this problem a lot in my life. Just this problem. I paid through college, so I was working through college to pay for everything, and it was just a really tough like time in my life feeling like I'm taking these classes, but I didn't have the support I felt I needed to say, like, where's the return I'm going to get? Yes, I'm learning things, but like, where's the return? Like, how am I going to translate all of this knowledge into a job, a career, and who's helping me with that? There were a few people I could talk to, but I just didn't feel like there was enough support. And I really tried to take advantage of the office. And so just solving this problem that I felt was such a heavy burden on me going through college is why I got into this. And then some of the challenges I think right now is just um, looking at like how do we tackle such a huge problem, and it has so many pain points. There's so much of that heaviness that you feel when you're just so lost as a student. And so which of those do we focus on first? How do we test that? And then we're not trying to just build the technology. We're trying to make the whole process with all the career advising staff, all the students, we're trying to make that more efficient. So how do we bring all those parties together working efficiently with the new technology? So that's something that both narrowing down the problem and testing it efficiently with all of the people involved. That's kind of the biggest challenge right now.
So,
Yeah, I think something that's really helpful as an entrepreneur, going back to the community aspect, is just to have other people who are building. It doesn't even have to be in my industry. Other companies, they're going through the same type of problems. They're going to events, just to connect with those people and feel like I'm not all alone, because it's very hard and taxing as an entrepreneur to keep going and to have people to support. That's something I'm looking looking for. And then also fundraising specifically. If I can, even though we're planning to, officially raise next year, if there are other unique or creative ideas that I can use to speed up my process because I can bring in more capital in the meantime, or I can just think about the problem more creatively. Like maybe I don't even need to involve VCs. Maybe I can fund through cash flow or another creative method. So, yeah, just sharpening that skill set to give myself more flexibility and maybe speed up my process as an entrepreneur, hoping to get those things. Yeah.
My name's Amadalise Davis. A project that I'm working on is supporting children with autism. I'm currently helping youth ages 2 to 18-year-olds become more independent in their life. Right now, I'm doing a great job with that. I used to work independently, one-on-one. Now I'm in a school setting, helping them with just education and supporting their everyday needs. I hope to make more meaningful connections in the network with people, also provide my outlook on other things such as how to help the world, how to make it a better place, and I hope I can receive the same advice from them. I'm looking to go into a private practice where I can help fund research towards autism It's grown to more of a holistic care, which I think is amazing. I also want to continue research on autism and how to better help the community. Some obstacles that I face when working with children with autism is finding practices that work with them. Everyone is different, and it's not really a lot of resources funded for them. I would like to bring more resources in a school setting and at home where they can feel that they have a supportive group to help them. I hope I can take away um, confidence on achieving some of the goals, like providing resources, because it's a topic that's not really widely discussed. I also hope to take away advice on how to navigate difficult situations and break through this world of autism and learn how to properly navigate it. And hopefully, I can gain a lot of resources on where to look and confidently voice the undervoiced.
My name is Ani, RJ. People call me Ani for simple. You don't want to know my whole last name. Primary school teacher was like, I'm not gonna call you by your entire name. I'm just gonna name you Ani. So I stuck with it. I I just recently graduated from UC Irvine. I did my master's in business analytics. Um, right now I'm working on multiple projects. A couple with the SF City. Um, one as my own. It's called for career stuff, and another one which we apparently won the hackathon. So it's called Legit or Shit. So I want to try and make that into a company. So I'm here. We got Natalie. We found Natalie was like, "Hey guys, you won. Please come over. We have this amazing event which is gonna happen in this cool ranch, and then we have a 10-week interview in internship so that you guys know how everything works out." And something personally about me is I love to mountain bike, go on trails. So this is like a perfect setting for me, basically. So I would have loved to have a more challenging trek, but I feel it was more like a for everyone. So I hope you guys got awesome shots of us during the process. And then anything else that I miss out? The project that I'm working on is it's called Legit or Shit. So when you guys have a lot of inbound calls, when you run basically an ad campaign, you give out your number to a bunch of places to keep on calling you guys. And if you're basically like a small business where there are limited amount of people, you don't want to keep on listening to those phone calls or receiving those phone calls and having like, okay, yeah, cool, or sometimes maybe just scam, and then you don't want to spend that time. So what we do is basically make AI answer all of those phone calls. Let the people talk to it, and then let the AI decide whether, okay, yeah, this guy's worth calling back, and then it will schedule a meeting, and then you go and then talk to them. So basically, it just filters out half of the junk that you don't want. So that's one. And then the second one is for the San Francisco city. I'm working on it's called SF Lifeline. Basically, when paramedics go into a 911 situation, they want to know as much medical information as fast as possible. So and we're trying to build an interface for that, and also like a live translate feature where people who are non-native speakers to English or who have difficulty in that, they could just turn on the app and have a natural conversation with non-native speakers, so that medical attention can be given faster. In the next 10 weeks, what I love to see myself is plan out plan out our the company, how it's going to be done, what's going to be our market, who's going to be our market basically, and then how do I raise money for this company, and basically, can I like how what's my business strategy? So how do I sell it? What's my go-to-market strategy? And then yeah, so basically trying to figure out from a idea on a paper all the way to living, breathing organization. So yeah, that's what I expect. Yeah.
My name's Daniel Theobald. I am passionate about trying to solve the world's food problems. We've got a real issue. We've figured out how to feed the world, but we haven't figured out how to feed the world in a sustainable, healthy way. And so that's the next big challenge is our goal here is to use technology to allow us to return to more sustainable, more traditional forms of farming, where we can actually grow healthy food without pesticides, without chemicals, and food that is optimized for flavor and nutrition rather than food that's optimized for shelf life and travel. Can't think of a better place to do it. We're right here close to Silicon Valley, and we're simultaneously in the middle of nowhere. So it's like best of both worlds. So we are in beautiful San Gregorio. It's a little hidden gem. Population 204, I believe, at last count. It's about 11 miles south of Half Moon Bay, about 6 miles north of Pescadero. And we're a few miles east or west of La Honda. It's a really unique place because the weather here is temperate and amazing, pretty much year-round. We're able to grow a wide variety of crops, and it's just a beautiful, peaceful place. And San Gregorio started out as a 17,000-acre ranch that was a land grant back when this was all part of Mexico. Today, Rancho San Gregorio is 127 acres, so it's gotten a little bit smaller, but still the original farmhouse. And it's a hidden gem. It's a beautiful, peaceful place where we are working to solve the world's food problems. Yeah, so behind me, John Doerr, who's the Google billionaire, owns that. This whole property, so it's like 500 acres. 500 acres over here was owned by the PG&E family, but it was recently purchased by someone. So by comparison, we're rather small, 127 acres at this point. But I think it's the perfect size. So I met Natalie, and she talked about how so many entrepreneurs just didn't know how to take that first step. They had an idea, they felt like, wouldn't it be great to found a company, but they just didn't know what to do. So the idea with Funding Breakthrough Lab is to help people basically provide a support network to help people both learn, but also just have support to take that first step, because it's a scary first step. You have to have a lot of maybe what I'd call unearned confidence. You've never done it before, and you've just got to, take that leap. So that's a big part of it. For myself in particular, I've launched a lot of companies, had a lot of experiences, bootstrapped, grant funded, VC funded, and I've learned a lot. And what I realized is that there are many, many mistakes that you can make as a founder early in the process that have a major impact on what happens later on. So part of my motivation is to share my experiences to help young or first-time founders or second or third-time founders maybe not make some of those mistakes, get on a path that's going to more likely lead to the kind of success and impact that they want to have. A lot of times, a new founder will come to me and they'll say, hey, I want to build a company doing X. What should I do? First thing I tell them is go get a job. Go get a job doing X. And they're like, no, but I want to be a founder. I'm like, yes, if you want to be a successful founder, it's very difficult if you just get some idea, out of the ether and then like, I'm going to found a company doing this. The best way to be successful is to embed yourself in that industry. And so, in Silicon Valley, we've got a real problem where there's this crazy idea that you should just, sort of in your imagination come up with an idea, go pitch to investors, get money, and then build a company. And that is probably the worst way to build a company. So getting a job or getting involved with the industry and then taking your time to figure it out, to learn, to really understand the customer, the need, to test your hypotheses. Um, I think one of the problems is that even this, we call it a pre-accelerator. Everybody in Silicon Valley is trying to go faster and faster and faster. And more often than not, that means you just fly off that cliff even sooner. And in my experience, what I found is that those founders that slow down, that take their time, that don't spend money like it's going out of style, that don't feel like just because they convinced some VC to give them money that they're somehow now successful, because only 1 out of 100 VC-backed founders actually has a decent exit. 1 out of 100. And you hear all these people in Silicon Valley say, I've had 5 exits, I've had 3 exits. And the only reasonable interpretation when someone says that is, I failed 5 times. And we always just assume that, you've had an exit, you must be rich. No, because we make these mistakes, these systematic mistakes, and we don't have to. So sharing that knowledge, I think, is super important. How do you actually build a company? VC didn't used to exist. It's only a few decades old. It used to be that to build a company, you had an idea, you worked at it, you found your first customer, you proved that you could provide value, and then maybe you went and got a loan to build the business faster. But you didn't just go get some big amount of money to try and build a company out of nothing. Customer, 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 customer. So important. I think the biggest lesson I've learned in life is always be kind. With yourself first and everybody else second. And I think if people would just remember that, your success just goes way, way up. I think it's really easy for people to feel like, I've got to stand up for myself. I've got to get what's mine. And that more often than not backfires. Being kind is not being nice. It's not being naive. Being kind is doing the hard thing, doing the right thing, caring about people enough that you actually put in the effort necessary to maybe take the harder path sometimes. But again, you have to be kind to yourself first. You're not going to be successful being kind to anyone else if you haven't figured out how to take care of yourself. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So my name is Jonathan Whenever. I'm a founder. I just won a hackathon last weekend, which is why I'm here. So I technically have a lot of ideas, but not a company or funding or even like a pitch deck. So yeah, I'm here to learn more about just like the VC. I mean, I worked at like big tech companies like Amazon, Google, NerdWallet, um, and basically like did like different jobs in like IT and like DevOps. And at Google, I was like data engineering, like machine learning, AI specialist. And then when I was at Amazon at AWS, I helped like cloud customers with cybersecurity, basically implementing. Because like when you do documentation, it's like yeah, that's good. But then when you're actually trying to implement in real life, like you have to consider like if you want to like best security, like least permissions, for example, like you actually have to read it and then test it out because like you're using like all these services and like how they interact. Like they have to have like if you want to scope it down to like the best, like a security, because like a lot of like enterprise customers, that's kind of like what they pay their engineers to do. So yeah, so like I have like all this experience and like just want to break out on my own and like it's like a really good time to start companies in terms of like you don't even need to be an engineer now. You could basically like vibe code apps, like just throw it out there and like see if it sticks and like you could raise funds and like use social media to kind of like build engagement and like get the people like to see your app and like want to try it out. And like I mean, especially if you're in the Valley and I mean San Francisco Bay Area, there's like lots of opportunities in terms of like, for example, like outside LLMs. So it's like a recent hackathon where it's basically music focused and like they had, I guess, different categories for um either like applications like for musicians or applications for like the festival because like it's for like for outside land. So they had like a lot of collabs, like whether it's like a photo booth app or like an app that will basically like take your Spotify like listening history and like playlists and like generate like a custom schedule for like for example like outside lands, like basically giving like a schedule from like all the days and like all the bands that you would want to like listen to based on like what you actually listen to like on like a streaming service that you use. So Um, so like that type of apps, and then they also have like apps for like the business part of being a musician, because like that's kind of like the difficult part in terms of like if you want to do this as a vocation, it's like very difficult to like break even. So like a lot of people, they have to work, other jobs or like do contract work to like try to find something else to basically supplement it. So like yeah, there's like a lot of cool parts in terms of like kind of getting like monetization, like kind of like market analytics, because like a lot of platforms like Ticketmaster or Spotify, they don't share any data with like musicians, which is like kind of like, I don't know, kind of backwards in terms of like, there's other fields like where you could get data and kind of like be able to do all these different marketing tactics. But like if you're a musician, like your payment's like closed out, and like a lot of these platforms are very monopolistic, so like they basically use that against you as a musician, and like that's why Spotify only pays like pennies per play, for example.
So are you trying to create kind of competitive to that market?
I mean, I guess like I've been trying to enter like hackathons that are kind of like towards my interest, in terms of like if you're like more passionate, enthusiastic, you're gonna be more likely to finish and like submit something that's like, I guess, like worthwhile, and like you could, I know, like more likely to build like a company based on that, because like you're meeting like a real need. So like, I mean, I'm really passionate about music, so I guess like among other things, like I also joined Frontier Tower recently, like last month, and they have like a lot of like deep and frontier tech. Like if you're into like robotics, AI, decentralized like crypto, human longevity, biotech, where it's like DNA engineering, like CRISPR, for example, stuff. So they, and like maker spaces where like 3D printers and like different like humanoid robotics, and like all these like really cool like unique events like in the city. Like even for San Francisco, they have like a lot of unique events like you wouldn't really see like anywhere else. And they have like a lot of cool people that you can basically like exchange ideas, and like I just like bump into people and they just talk like all the cool projects like they're working on. So like yeah, it's like a really interesting space, and like there's always something going on, whether it's like a hackathon or like different events or like seminars, or I don't know. They had last week. They had like a peptide seminar. Like if you're interested in like that type of, basically like it's like different ways of like increasing like your ability like to heal from like injuries, or basically like to give you some other like benefits. So yeah, so like basically like I'm interested in a lot of stuff, and like that's like a really cool place in terms of like being able to like network and like learn from other people. So yeah, that's like, I guess like I mean, I guess I've worked in like different startups, and like used to like I guess like kind of like the economic uh and like financial, I guess like in terms of like there's like different like I guess vehicles for like raising funds, like whether that's like family offices or like VC funds or like angel investors, and like different, I guess like pre-accelerators, and like I guess like startup accelerators. I mean, like if you're in like SF Bay Area, they have like all sorts of options, opportunities that you could take advantage of. And that's not even like, I mean, those are like the more traditional, and there's like non-traditional ways of basically raising funds. Like I guess like Cooley is like a really good example in terms of like using social media to like basically build a product in public, and kind of using controversy like as a strength, because like they basically use that as an engagement, and they have like kind of a content strategy where they basically kind of like gamify and like game the algorithms on social media to like basically like, raise their company like profile, and like get in front of like more people, like whether as like a consumer product, or whether they're trying to sell it like as a dev tooling. Because I mean, I guess they originally made like a cheating tool, but it's like more like a co-pilot. If you think about like basically like if you were to solve, I guess like use it at work, for example, like you could take it in the context of what you're working on, and kind of like help you basically reach different answers that, I mean, sure, you could like prompt an LLM, like, ChatGPT for like the similar thing, but it's like more of like a drop down, like, I guess like overhead display, kind of like a video game. So I don't know, it's the user interface, like, I don't know, a little bit different, and like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm doing free promo for them, but that's just like one example, I guess. There's like plenty of other ones. So,
All right. Thank you, brother.
My name's Holly, and the reason I'm here is because as I've been building software as medical device and education materials, I just realized so many decisions get made early on. And so I wanted to move farther upstream and really have an opportunity to help and support founders. And I found this program, and I love the way that Natalie brought it all together. Yeah, so the reason I really think there's a lot of value in this specific program is it's built in a way that helps you think about your options. Because a lot of programs kind of put you on one track and teach you that. And this gives you a perspective and teaches you different ways to raise funding, for example. And I think that's so powerful when you're starting something to know your choices and be able to figure out what's best for the type of company you want to build. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, and I think one of them is you just have to always run fast. It can be so powerful to come to a retreat like this and pause and reflect. And it's also so powerful to get different viewpoints. And I think asking the question, who's not in the room, is amazing because you're gonna then think about somebody that might actually be critical to the product you're building. And if you go and get that insight, you'll build a product that better serves the needs. And so I think being open to questions, being open to thinking about and checking your own assumptions, because we all have assumptions. So you go in knowing that, so you have the opportunity to question them in a way that supports you and supports what you're trying to do too. I would say one of the things that's so important, and again, one of the reasons I'm here is because the products that we build and the companies have such a big impact. And so I'm hoping to help convey that so that people see the power of what they're doing and also just the impact that it has. So to be thoughtful of the full human that's going to use the product and the community and the people it's going to impact. So I'd love for them to walk away with that thought in mind and keep checking back. How is this going to impact society or the people? How am I presenting the information? So many times people want to make a behavior change, but they don't always know how to do that. And so products can help them, or sometimes they can do a different behavior change that they don't want to, like doom scrolling. So I think products have a huge potential, and I want that to be harnessed to have a positive impact. Starting this in this environment too, I think is really great because it's a good way to set the tone too. And I love that on this farm they have decelerators. So we're in an accelerator, but just this idea of decelerating and how powerful these types of spaces can be is really awesome.